Are you a little bit confused with the DC universe currently? You might be a bit like, which one's the Batman of the cinematic universe? I don't understand. What the hell is Blue Beetle? Is Joker in the same world as the Batman? Oh my god. Well, fear no longer, because That's Just Joe is here to save the day and explain the DC universe to you right now. Let's do it. Hello, welcome to another That's Just Joe video. My name's Joe and that's about it, but that's not about it. Here today, I'm here to explain to you the future of DC, specifically DC movies, DC animation, DC TV shows, and how it's all going to go about from now on. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the worlds of DC, that I know every single character. I've read every single comic book and interpretation of these superheroes. I haven't, but this is why I'm doing this video, to explain to you how DC is moving forward in media. If you're like me and enjoy the film, TV, animated and video game media, we're very much alike. But what I do want to do is break down the upcoming DC universe for you in the most Fisher-Price essence ever and give my opinion on these announced projects. But first, we need to go back in time. I don't have any money for effects, so sorry. So, the DC Extended Universe. After the highly successful Dark Knight trilogy from Christopher Nolan, Man of Steel was released in 2013, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill as Superman, and it was the launch of the DC Extended Universe. This was very much to catch up with Marvel, who had already built their cinematic universe, and Avengers had come out before Man of Steel, so Warner Brothers & Co. needed to catch up quickly, and they might have catched up a little bit too quickly. But lots and lots of projects came out of the DC Extended Universe. Yes, it took a while, but there were a lot. And those projects were Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Black Adam, Shazam Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and finally Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And that wraps up the DC Extended Universe. And if you're thinking, oh, I wasted all my time watching all the DC Extended Universe just for it to get rebooted, don't worry. I bought the entire 4K collection over years. So if anyone's wasted their time, it's possibly me. To be honest, it's not a waste of time watching the whole DC Extended Universe before we enter the new DC Universe, because it's a good starter. You know, when you go for a meal, you get the starter. Oh, a bit nice, yeah. Then you go to the main meal, which is the DCU. But before I talk about the newly formed DC Universe, we need to talk about the Elseworlds Projects. We've also had other live-action DC projects not set in the main continuity of the DC Extended Universe being released, such as Joker, the Batman, and the upcoming TV show The Penguin, and we are still getting sequels to those two films. But James Gunn has clearly said they would be labelled as DC Elseworlds, basically meaning they are not part of his cinematic universe coming up. This is just to remind general audiences the separation between his DC universe and the Elseworlds one, which were very much their own standalone projects. I mean, the Batman technically has a cinematic universe because the Penguin TV show coming out is connected to that. I forgot what it's called again. What's it called? Oh yeah. What? And I think the reason Gunn hasn't cancelled any future Elseworlds projects is because they have done extremely well. Joker made over $1 billion at the box office, and the Batman was received very well, and yes, made a good chunk of change. Even though it seems like audiences are preferring these standalone projects, they're coming in their droves, and because they're not connected with the universe of films and TV shows, Gunn is taking the risk of forming a new DC universe. But anyway, let's enter the DC universe. Brought to you by the newly developed DC Studios with James Gunn and Peter Safran at the helm. A full reset. And at the current time of this video being made, I'm going to break down the films and TV shows set in the new continuity of the DCU that have been announced. There may be more to come, and also things can get, What is important to bear in mind as I go down these projects is that when I say they are in the same universe, I mean the same universe. So the same actors who play a character in the DC universe, like a live action film, will also be the same version in an animated series or a video game. For example, David Corenswet as Superman. He's Superman in live action and the voice of Superman in animation and the voice of Superman in video games, as long as it's connected to the DCU. So the first phase or first chapter will be titled Gods and Monsters, and I have to say, with the projects being made, the title is very, very fitting. So here is what has been announced so far for the DC Universe. Creature Commandos animated TV show. This is basically a band of superhumans that have been put together, a little bit like Suicide Squad, and put together by Amanda Waller, who you might remember from the Suicide Squad, and will be played by Viola Davis again. But you have a werewolf, a vampire, a human, and also Frankenstein's monster. It looks really good. I'm very excited for this. Very adult animation style, and I'm just liking the whole vibe of the thing. James Gunn, as you know, directed the first 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films, probably the only 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films, but he was very excited about this project, and this is technically the first project of the DC Universe and our introduction to the world in animation form. But then comes the first live action project for the DC Universe, and that is Superman. Gunn actually directed this and wrote it, and it's just finished wrapping at the current time of recording this, and I'm very excited for this. I don't know if you checked out my last video about why I hate Superman, but I'm ready to give him another chance, and I'm ready to give Superman another chance because I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn can do with the character and the world. Superman is a very tricky character to get right and to get people in their droves, butts in seats watching this film, but I'm sure the marketing and the lead up to it is going to be amazing. I am definitely getting a shirt of that symbol. That symbol is cool. And David Corenswet looks like a good Superman. I like the suit. I like the whole vibe of what I've seen from the set photos. Yeah, I'm excited. Next, we have Peacemaker Season 2, or is it Season 1? Because with the reset, Peacemaker Season 1 was in the DC Extended Universe, but now we enter the DC Universe, and a lot of the cast from the original series are returning for the second. Is this a bit of favoritism? Of course it isn't. They were just really good. The show was brilliant. If you haven't seen Peacemaker, go and watch it. James Gunn, Warner Brothers, all that were not ready for John Cena to hang up the helmet just yet. There is so much more story that could be done. I loved the first season. I'm really looking forward to where they can go with the second season, but now set in the continuity of the DC Universe. Next up is the Waller TV show. Now, this is obviously Amanda Waller again, played by Viola Davis. This is a live action TV show, and I'm really excited for this, but again, I don't know that much about it. As you know, she basically gets together baddies and superhumans and basically does the government's dirty work. So I'm sure this is going to be a direct continuation from Peacemaker Season 2 or 1 or whatever you want to call it now, and we're going to see some badassery from Viola Davis. Next up is the film Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and I'm very excited for this one because I've actually read the comic for this and it is kick-ass. Supergirl will be played by Millie Alcock of House of Dragons fame, and I loved this comic. The artwork in it is amazing. The different planets she visits. She is nothing like Superman. James Gunn has said in the past she is jaded. She's like bit of the opposite of Superman, and she doesn't believe in truth, justice, and the American way. So this is going to be a very different super film, if you get what I mean. But I'm really, really looking forward to it. No directors or anything confirmed just yet. Next up is the TV show Lanterns. Now, I love the description of this TV show that Gunn has explained in his DC Universe Slate video. And basically, it's going to be True Detective, but with space cops. Take my money right now. This is obviously going to have 2 Green Lanterns in it, and I've only ever seen the Green Lantern film. I've never read a Green Lantern comic. I don't really know much about the character, but this does sound good. And also, apparently the TV show leads into the bigger story of the DC Universe. They're investigating these weird deaths that are happening, and they connect to a big threat to the DC Universe itself. Paradise Lost is going to be a TV show based before Wonder Woman, not the film, the birth of the actual Wonder Woman. And it's going to be based on Themyscira, the island where Wonder Woman is from, you know, with all the women, and they're really cool and they have swords and stuff. And it's been very much described Game of Thrones alike. This is probably the one I'm least looking forward to, but again, I don't know much about it. I don't know much about where Wonder Woman's from, her backstory, her people's backstory. So, you know, gonna give it a chance, gonna wait till they start marketing this stuff, and yeah, guess I'm looking forward to it. Now, next is an interesting one, and I do want to start reading comics of it, but it is The Authority. Now, James Gunn described this film as a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. So it's going to be a very different look for superheroes. Now, if you want a few spoilers, like a few little tidbits, and James Gunn has been teasing this and other people, but some members of the Authority will appear in the Superman movie. Now, this does sound really, really interesting. It sounds like James Gunn's version of Guardians of the Galaxy, but in the DCU. But the characters, the breakdowns I've read are really interesting. So go ahead, order an Authority comic book and see what you think. I am very much looking forward to this film. Now, this next TV show I am really excited about, and it's Booster Gold. And basically, it's about a character called Mike Carter in the future. I think it's like the 25th century. And what he does, he works at a museum. He's an ex-college football player. And he's a bit of a scoundrel, to be honest. He's a bit of a Han Solo. So he finds his time machine. He goes back in time wearing a super strength suit that does loads of superpower stuff, mimicking a superhero. And I'm really excited for this because it's basically someone pretending to be a superhero who I guess ends up being an actual superhero, learning from their faults and so on. I really love the look of this. I love the sound of it. Again, we don't know that much, but seeing this as a TV show, yeah, I can see this really working. And apparently someone might be playing that part, but it's not been officially confirmed. We won't go there. Now, there has been a certain character missing from all these projects, and you've probably noticed I haven't mentioned him or the rest of his family. And that is obviously Batman, one of my favourite superhero characters in the entire catalogue of the DC superheroes and even Marvel. But this is going to be a very interesting film. Titled Batman the Brave and the Bold, this will see Batman's son, Damian Wayne, taking up the mantle as Robin. We haven't seen Robin in a live-action film for a long time. He finds his father, Bruce Wayne, and he takes up the mantle of Robin, but he's not doing, he's not sticking by the book of being a superhero. So obviously Bruce needs to guide him. And so I think this is going to be very much like a big father and son film. This is going to be a completely different Batman we've ever seen. And also there's going to be introduction to other characters in the Bat family. Oh, I'm hoping Batgirl, Nightwing. Oh my god, the list could go on and on. So this is definitely one of my most anticipated projects out of all the DCU projects. And if you want to get to know Damian Wayne and the Bat family, read Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn. This is really good. I love the comic style in this. I love the costume. This isn't Bruce Wayne, by the way, but I think with the film, they're going for a Robin has been away and he reunites with his father, but he's not the Robin Batman had hoped for. So this could be really good. I am hoping for a more colourful Batman. I'm hoping for the blue suit. I'm just all this fan geeky stuff of past Batmans I've seen in comics and animation. I'm just hoping it would pop on the screen. So Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Yeah. Cannot wait. And finally, another film, and that is Swamp Thing. Ooh. So basically, Swamp Thing is about a guy that turns into a monster, and he is terrifying. And, he's really super powerful, but he's a good guy. He is a good guy, but there's many horror elements in the comics and even TV shows that have been released of this. And I just love that they're kind of trying to integrate horror into the DC universe. Not every single project in this slate is going to be the same. Even though they're set in the same universe, they don't have to have the exact same tone. And I think that's a really important takeaway from all this, because that's how James Gunn is approaching it differently. A lot of the Marvel films, and I'm not here to slate Marvel, I do enjoy the MCU, the majority of it, the TV shows, the films, they just look very similar because they're all in the same universe. So that does make sense. But what Gunn wants to try and do in his DC universe is make each project and the characters different from one another. And that's very hard to do in one universe, because eventually I'm sure a lot of these characters are going to collide in live action. And is that going to mash well? But time will tell, and I do trust James Gunn. I really do. I trust James Gunn and the rest of the people at DC Studios to give us a absolutely amazing cinematic universe that we can watch for many, many years. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I really, really hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making it. Make sure you like the video. It really, really helps me out. And subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care. What are you doing here?
cat.